All right, hi everyone. Today I'm going to be exploring star ratings in movies, and I'm using a movies and TVs reviews data set. And I'm going to be comparing a regression to classification model. All right, so my motivation for this, I really wanted to see if a model could detect differences between reviews with 2, 3, and 4 stars. It's already pretty apparent that 1 and 5 stars are going to have differences because, those are very polarized. But I wanted to see if 2, 3, and 4 stars, like being more like loosely defined, had some standard that people would use their language for. And I thought that people are very passionate about movies, so this data set would have a lot of emotions into it, which the model would be able to pick up on. Right, so for the data, I used an Amazon movies and TV reviews data set with about 1.7 million reviews. I used the reviews between 500 and 3,000 characters just to cut down on the volume because some of them were getting to like the 30,000s. And so about the star ratings, there are 5 star classes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's a distribution for the original data set, but there are no like 1.5 or 4.5 star ratings. It's just the integers. All right, so after doing a lemmatization, so I took the similes of the original data set. These are the counts of the words. So you see movie and film have around 2 million. Then we get also story, character, DVD, some words that are also specific to this data set, and then some generic words as well. All right, so for my pipeline, I pretty much had a standard NLP pipeline, just using MongoDB and then NLTK for the NLP. All right, so for classification, for this, I considered each star rating to be a category, so the model predicted into the categories. Um, and I found that the logistic regression or the logistic classifier performed the best out of all of them. And I feel like this rock curve that I was able to make does a really good job of showing the nuances of the data set. So we see at the beginning we have 1 star and 5 star represented by the purple and blue. Those are grouped together, and this makes sense that these are performing the best because like these are the two ratings that are the most polarized. Someone's either really happy with the product or they're really upset with it. So these both perform the best. Then we have a little gap, and then we also have the 2 star and the 4 star ratings together. And it makes sense that these are together too, because the model can detect that it's like positive or negative, but it's a little bit less defined than the 1 or the 5 stars. And then for the green, which represents the 3 stars, it kind of does the worst out of all of them because it's kind of in the middle. It has qualities of both the 2 and the 4 star, which are already loosely defined. But even for the 3 star, this does significantly better than just the mean regressor. Right, so I took the coefficients from logistic regression, and I found the most important words for each category. So for 1 star, worst, waste, awful, garbage. 2 stars, a little bit less intense, so disappointment, unfortunately. Then for 3 stars, we get words like average, mediocre, and then also however and somewhat. So we get some words that are showing uncertainty. For 4 stars, recommended, well worth. And then 5 stars, we have highly recommended is the most important one, also with perfect, excellent, and superb. All right, so switching over to regression, this is where I considered the rating to be numerical instead of categorical. So the model would predict on a line of values instead of just into the 5 categories. And after doing some modeling, I found that the linear regression performed the best out of all of them with an RMSE of about 1. So the model was predicting 1 off on average, which isn't too good, but I was able to get some important words from this, just like the logistic regression where I pulled out the coefficients from it. Right, so for the positive coefficients, the highest coefficients, the first one we get is Dom, and this actually refers to Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was a very accomplished film producer. So I found that he was very polarized. You also have highly recommended, a lot of the words from logistic regression. We also have timeless, which in this word's interesting because it's specific to the data set. And for the logistic regression, where we put all them together, we got a more generalized list of terms that refer to like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 star ratings. But for this, we're actually getting words that are specific to the data set. And that's also the case with the negative coefficients. We have propaganda. And another thing here, we see that Von Damme actually occurs here as well. I think this is kind of one of the pitfalls of linear regression. It kind of takes too much information from the original data set. Um, Nightmare on Elm Street, We also get some things in there like that. So it's a little bit more specific, and we get some really cool words like propaganda and timeless, but at the cost of being a little bit too specific. All right, so for results and further work, I found that there was actually some standard of star rating value among the reviewers, even for the less defined categories like 2, 3, and 4 stars. And this is significant because people usually have a very different interpretation of what like a 2, 3, and 4 star rating are. You know, like someone's 4 star rating could be a 2 star for someone else. So to see that this language was actually like somewhat standardized across different people's reviewing styles was really cool to see. Then we also have the difference between regression and classification. It was really cool to see that there were actually differences that I got from the insights that I was able to pull for that. And then to test this on other data sets, I feel like that would also be an interesting way to go. You know, maybe with a data set on video games or something, we would apply the logistic regression to give us a more generalized list of words. But then if we use the linear regression, it would give us a more specific set of words that pertain to the original data set. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks so much for listening. Please let me know if you have any questions.